Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus. Early this morning, I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your moment. As spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people, and I've come before you oftentimes and held myself up as an advocate for the love of God. And so when I respond to situations that we as American citizens face every day, I come to you from the perspective of a divine wisdom. And I just need you to understand that my approach to this situation that we are experiencing here in America today is no less one that I approach from a divine perspective. And so, what I want to share with you right now is some understanding about some of the things that's going on. But let me reacquaint you with the original plan for the system of the world for people as God has designed it to be. That is, that this earth, a home for humankind and all living things, a mother, a manufacturer, a womb for everything that humankind would ever need, want, or desire, to utilize their gifts that each human being bring when they come to this earth, a big, wonderful gift to contribute, something to do, to contribute for being here. And every last one of those gifts are connected together to make sure that they are able to cause a manifestation of all that mankind can imagine. And in that, there will never be any suffering for anything. For there would be peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of life and the fulfillment of dreams. The fulfillment of dreams, which basically means that everything is met. Never homeless, never hungry, never lacking anything. Never having to lie, to cheat, to steal, to do any of these things. Well, this is the concept of the divine way for humankind to live here on this earth. But we don't live that way. And you should know why. For those of you who have heard the story about the beginning of time and how people started living in sin, well, they gave you a biblical description. I'd like to give it to you in a form that you can understand in our daily life today. I call this whole thing Satan. And I say that because of the pain, because of the suffering that we as human beings experience in this country and all over the world. Now, in America, in America, evil runs the show. Now, you heard that evil came and says, even in America's infancy, who can I depend on? And for America, it was the white man. The white man became the tool of evil. Now, in order to have some power, you need a lot of humans. And what was your bait? Money. Money became the bait for Satan's control in America. The power base to stand for was the whites. And in order to be able to manipulate that power all over the world, all over the country, you use money. Now, that might sound a little crazy to you, ladies and gentlemen, but let me show you how uncrazy, how sane that idea is. When Donald Trump came on the scene, running for president of the United States, he was called evil. Well, first of all, he said he was the one. He's the one that can do it. He has the brain. You know, he lifted himself up in such a way that the biblical expression of Lucifer in heaven, when the angels got it all, want to be boss. He lifted himself up that way. And everybody saw him coming. They called him evil. They called him low down. They called him the devil. He represents that authority of white men. He came on the scene. And what did he do? He told people, he did everything that was taught to the American people as being evil. He told people lies. He was a racist. He was a hater. He a bigot. You name it, if it's evil, he got it somewhere tapped on it. And what happens? 74 million people love him. Now, the rest of the country looks at him and says, they gotta be out of their mind. How can you believe that stuff? But they do. They do. And that's the way the system works. They follow the system, the people. Now, even those who follow Trump now, they used to follow the system. Now they're trying to overturn it. But the rest of the people trying to keep the population conform to the system, which is the same thing that Donald Trump is doing. Those people are following Donald Trump. Now you're following the system. And the system is so far off from what the original plan of man is. So my job is to try to get you to see that just like Donald Trump folk is following some craziness, the rest of the country is following some craziness as well. Because what you're doing creates pain, it creates suffering. This, my friends, it has people who are homeless. I don't have to, you fill in the blank. All of that. Now, what it actually says, and I want to hold this to a biblical perspective, when we look at the whole thing that's been happening over the past couple of years, the murder of George Floyd gave the whole world an indication of how the world operates, but mainly America. The white power structure, the disrespect for black lives, how that, and blatant stuff, murder, and it was broadcast. And the world saw it, and the world said, hey, we experienced some of the same kinds of things. Now, that was to let the people know that it's what you're going to do. Now you're being told that you've been a second-class citizen. You've seen that, how you've been treated. You see why you've been treated. You see how the people are being misled. You see how you're being misled. And now, after the murder of George Floyd, they want to pretend like they want to do something better for you. Then you got this evil one trying to steal the election. Look, trying to tell the world, tell the country that the other people are trying to steal the election, putting everybody's focus on everybody else, while he and his cohorts are doing everything they can to steal the election. That's the devil. You know, you can't nobody come up with nothing like that but the devil. And then what happens? The southern states would rule by the white men who have representatives of the chosen ones to serve evil, wants to cause and continue causing pain to others, not just blacks and people of color, but white folks as well, just to stay in power. Don't care who they hurt. Don't care at all. And a system that will maintain itself like that rather than straighten itself out don't make sense. But this is what's happening. And who, my friends, who are going to suffer the most, you have the most to gain. If I'm making a choice, somebody said, well, you talk about heaven. That's what I talk about. I'm talking about heaven here on earth, though. I'm not talking about dying and going to heaven. If that's it, your destiny, fine. But let's start right here. I tell you what, it would. It's reasonable to assume that if there is another place to live, having died, gone someplace else, is heaven. If you were working on it, if you had achieved heaven here or working on it, making those kinds of changes. But to sit here, go along with hell, and somehow there's a justification for somebody forgiving you, putting you to heaven, all it would take is another one controlled by evil to enter that space and give you the same kind of threats that they gave you here, that they gave them with the angel, and you'd be right back in this situation all over again. No, I don't think they let you up there. You got to at least prove yourself to yourself. And I'm not talking about to God. Prove yourself to yourself. And everybody knows you as you are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me see. The one I made a note here. This is an evil nation, and Satan is the boss. I'm speaking to you from a divine perspective. I'm not talking political stuff. It's referenced about the righteousness of life, but I'm above. My conversation is to be above that. It's about righteousness. People walk around and say, look at Trump. Look at everything that he's done. I mean, he's making people sick look at him. He's walked on the Constitution. He's stepping in American face every day. And he's white. Representative of that group of people that made a pact with evil. And he was willing to go to the worst. So evil can't punish Trump. I mean, Trump was just doing his job. So if you wonder why he hasn't been punished, evil can't punish him. Now, what does that mean? That means that the system that you are holding on to, that you're trying to just cling on to so they don't go the way of Trump, this system is allowing him to flaunt his disrespect for this system all in your face and get away with it. I still want you to know that there is another system. It's a divine system where the people honor God by honoring one another. Thank you.